Most people think that testosterone replacement therapy is about the dose, and it's not. The delivery method you choose can completely change how you feel. If you're a CEO, pressure isn't occasional, it's constant, and most people think the answer is more discipline, but it's not, because if your physiology can't handle the load, your mind will eventually break under it. I'm Todd Vande Hei, and on this channel, we talk about how to build a body and mind that can actually carry the responsibility necessary for leaders. I built this because discipline failed me when the pressure got real. And most health advice is built for people with free time. Stark was built for people who don't have that luxury. In testosterone replacement therapy, there are several different delivery methods: oral medications, topical creams or gels, pellets, and injections, either intramuscular or subcutaneous. Each comes with trade-offs, and the real goal across all of them is simple: keep testosterone levels at an optimal range without extreme highs and extreme lows, because those swings are what tend to create the side effects experientially as a patient like me. So let's start with oral testosterone. Oral forms do exist, but historically they've had challenges with absorption and consistency. Some formulations are processed through the liver, which can impact liver enzymes, and many clinicians question how effectively they maintain stable blood levels over time. Because of that, they're generally less commonly used in long-term optimization protocols. Next are creams and gels. These are applied to the skin daily and absorbed transdermally. The upside is that they're non-invasive, they're very easy to use. Well, kind of irritating actually, but you can do it easily wherever you are. You can travel with them, but there are some commonly reported drawbacks: inconsistent absorption depending on skin type and application site, daily variability in blood levels. This is one of the scariest things for me: the risk of transferring the medication to others through skin contact, especially your partner or your children. And in some cases, some patients report skin irritation, and because of that variability, some clinicians find it harder to precisely control hormone levels with this method. And then there are pellets, which is a fairly common delivery system. Pellets are implanted under the skin and release testosterone over several months. This is very convenient. No daily or weekly administration. You just go to the doctor's office, get the things installed, and then come back 3 to 6 months later. But the trade-off is control. You can't easily adjust the dose once it's in. And what's often reported and discussed in clinical settings is a pattern like this: very high levels early on, a more optimal range in the middle, and lower levels at the end of the cycle. That's because of absorption levels. Some patients report feeling more anxious or overstimulated when levels are high, more balanced in the middle, and lower energy or mood as levels decline. And that cycle then repeats with each new implantation. Finally, injections. This is where most clinicians tend to focus when precision matters. There are two primary types: intramuscular injections into the muscle and subcutaneous injections into your body fat. Intramuscular injections have been used for a very long time and are well understood. They can deliver larger doses, but depending on frequency, they still may create peaks and troughs. And subcutaneous injections, especially when done more frequently at lower doses, allow for much tighter control, smaller amounts, more frequent administration, and more stable blood levels. That stability often reduces the need for additional medications. You can do something very similar with intramuscular injections as well. We just find, or rather our clinicians find, that injecting subcutaneously allows for a much more stable absorption into the body. One little sidebar on a related note: if you become very, very successful with TRT, and one of the benefits is you become really lean, you're going to run out of subcutaneous fat in which to inject, and then you're going to end up doing intramuscular injections anyway. So let's talk about additional medications. One of the medications is an aromatase inhibitor. Testosterone can convert into estrogen in the body, and when testosterone levels spike too high, that conversion can increase. In some cases, that leads to clinicians to prescribe an aromatase inhibitor to manage estrogen levels. But if testosterone levels are more stable to begin with, that conversion may stay within a more natural range, reducing the need for additional intervention. So when you step back and look at all of this, the question isn't what's the best delivery method, it's what method allows for the most stable physiology over time, because stability tends to drive better outcomes, physically, cognitively, and of course, emotionally. Quick disclaimer: I am not a medical practitioner. This is based on my experience as a patient and conversations with clinicians and patients, along with the commonly discussed considerations across the medical community. If you're considering TRT, you should work with a qualified healthcare provider to determine what's appropriate for you. If you like today's video, click like and subscribe. And if you'd like to learn more about Stark, you can find us at stark.health. That's stark.health.